gummies. Those sound fairly interesting, so I'm excited to get into that one. Anyway, I hope your day has been well and that you're ready to relax, play some solitaire. If you enjoy our Candy and Solitaire series, let me know. Also, feel free to drop a suggestion down below as well. But besides all of that, please get yourself nice and comfy, and let's get into game number 1. I saw these in the supermarket and thought, how can these go wrong? Let's see if that is a task these gummies will take to heart, or wishful thinking. I don't know, I'm pretty tired, but let's get these on our plate real quick. Get out our chopsticks to our right, and let's take a quick little peek at this candy. So we have cranberry apple, apple cider, and caramel apple. Honestly, those all sound pretty good. Oh my, I was not expecting them to be so boring looking, especially with that bag cover. So, let's see what they have to bring. Let's start with the green. Well, that surprised me. With the way they were presented, you'd think, oh, they're gonna be a little sour. But no. Just a very smooth, consistent sweetness throughout that first one. And I'm very pleasantly surprised. So let's try out the yellow one next, since there are only about 3 of those. That's a nice little change for us there. Double kings. Some nice building. Throw down that jack, as I believe that's our 3rd play from our hand. An 8. And we are relatively rolling. Let's try out that yellow one now. This very, very powdered one. As we get our first fat stack of the night. That is so strange to how good that is. Wow. I think apple is one of those flavors that's so easily done poorly, or it's done in a way that doesn't really capture its notes that it's almost like getting some apple juice and making it into a gummy with a very nice tart sweetness, but just barely tart. Besides that, it looks like that's the end of our first game, as there's nowhere for that 5, queen, or king. And we cannot make another play without another red 3, nor a black 7, so a decent start. But we'll have to wait for our next one to try and get a win. These gummies are surprising, so let's see which was left unturned in our first game. As we have a little bit of nastiness, but no triplets. Let's try the red one. That was also very tasty. I'm gonna go one more of each, but let me get a little refresher on those flavors. So apple cider just is the yellow, caramel apple is the green, cranberry apple is the red. So let's go with caramel apple once again while we deal out game number 2. Oh yeah, that definitely comes through that time. There is a very clear, darker flavor within that gummy. The first time, it was a little tough to identify because in each of these gummies, they emphasize the apple as the main dominating flavor, which is nice because sometimes when you get another flavor, let's say like kiwi strawberry, you barely get a hint of each of those flavors, where it doesn't really make anything too great. But here, it's clear apple from the beginning with a slight accent on it. And all of them have that, not just that one alone. Let's get back to some apple cider. That is so good. That one, the apple was more through the middle and back of the tongue. And then with a very subtle tartness towards the tip with a little bit of, oh, I guess a cinnamon tingle, but not cinnamon, if that makes any sense. Honestly, already I could recommend these for sure. So if you think these sound halfway interesting, So that one, as we get our second fat stack of the night, right there. The cranberry apple emphasizes a different flavor than the other two. So the first one had a bit of a darker flavor that you could taste more on the side of your tongue. The apple cider was more on the tip of the tongue with a little spice mixed in. And that one, it had the very, very subtle characteristic of cranberry, since cranberry is not really an overpowering flavor. But when you get it, you have more of a bitterness on the back of your tongue. And that's all you need to really find a good balance within the cranberry apple flavor. As that's our third play, very solid all around. No complaints to even think of. And I could say solidly, for what they are, they deserve a 9 out of 10. Seriously, try them out, even if you're just barely curious. And with that, we have just won our first game of the night. So 2 fat stacks, 2 games in, and already with a win. Excuse me, by the way. Stomach's acting up since I haven't eaten much, and I guess gummies aren't the best first option to wrap up your night. Anyway, all of the spades, clubs, hearts, and the diamonds in order, ace to king. So let's shuffle this up and see how we do with our victory. Shuffle. It seemed a bit chunky. Good start. 6 to king. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then ace. So not too bad. About half the deck. Just under. Shuffled together. So I'm going to pop in another cranberry apple for game number 3. Oh, and their texture, very soft. Almost goes too quick, but just long enough to really enjoy. Let's go 2 more shuffles. Let's do it. 2 fat stacks in with the win. 3 more games to go. Can we pad up our stats? And isn't this such a lovely green and yellow Sacramento area, you know. Maybe other parts, but for sure, Sacramento knows what I'm talking about. So we had a very strong start to this one, but it looks like we might fizzle out a bit too quickly. We had triple jacks, lots of ace cards, but not much in between, so there's nowhere for that 2, 3, 9, 5, 8, or queen. And that is the end of our third one. So those are bound to happen, of course. Let's see what nastiness lurked beneath. Alright, looks like we might be adding a negative stat. Triple aces. I believe triple fives and triple sixes. My, oh my. Tough one. Let's give 4 shuffles for game number 4. That one is just so good. I think my favorite would have to be the yellow one. And you know, when you have a favorite, you try saving it for the end, type of thing. I really enjoy the texture on these because Sour Patch Kids typically have that grainy or granule sugar and maybe malic acid they sprinkle on top. And it doesn't really create a too satisfying experience when you chew. But these, on the other hand, soft through and through. Just in case that's a texture preference of yours. As we have a strong start to our 4th game of the night, and I may be feeling a fat stack coming. Can you feel the fatty coming? Let's go with another caramel apple. Alright, all we need is a black king and a red queen. And we have a fat stack. But those double tens, no, triple tens and double fives pose quite the challenge. No aces on the field yet, and even if, I don't think that would make too much of a difference. There's one king as we search for a lone red queen. Oh, I just realized. Red king. And I don't believe that we have a red queen in our great start. Triple tens hold this off just for a bit, as triple kings are left on the field, as well as double fives, double tens. Nowhere for those 2 threes, 6, 5, 7, or 2. Unfortunately, that's the end of our 4th game as we move on to our final game of the night. Is it just me, or does it feel like these games went relatively quickly? Oh, there's the nasty. Triple aces. Alright, let's have a good shuffle for our last game of the night. Let's give it one more gummy. Alright, as we get into our final game of the night, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. So throughout our regular solitaire journey, we've been building a secret deck. So tonight I'm going to give you an opportunity to enter, and all you have to do is comment 7-Eleven in a sentence discreetly with the name you'd like on the card, and then you have a chance to be entered into our secret deck. There you go. Best of luck to you. Hope to see you in there, in the completed deck. As for now, let's take this relatively slow as we get into our final game, and let's go at another apple cider. Well, we have spots for our kings available. Triple aces doesn't sound too bad, and make that quadruple. Let's go for another caramel apple. Oh no. I think we just got unlucky. As there's nowhere for that 7. Nowhere for is it for tonight. We did get 2 fat stacks, but followed by 2 fat stacks with a victory, followed by a couple stinky games. But you know what? Still a solid night overall. Let's see if there's anything nasty hiding in our final game of the night, as we just have a lot of doubles. But besides that, my friend, that will be it. I hope you enjoyed this Candy and Solitaire episode. Until our next, I hope you have yourself a relaxing remainder of your night with many, many sweet dreams. An awesome tomorrow. And until we meet again, stay safe.